setup here for the ITZR ARCA series here tonight at Homestead. Last week's race was very exciting from the short track of... Gotta get my notes all lined out here. It's been frantic getting all this stuff set up, but I am in for the call here tonight. Those of you that might not be familiar, I am Jakester here for the call tonight in the ITZR, or in other words, in the Zone Racing ARCA series, and I'm excited for this opportunity. Yeah, last race we had was North Wilkesboro, 125 laps, and the winner that came out on top was Peyton Howell last week. He already mentioned that this is one of his favorite tracks, so rolling in tonight, a little bit of momentum on his side to a track that he is very familiar and very comfortable with. Looking to maybe have another great race here tonight at the Magic Mile. So far, fastest in practice here today is none other than Peyton Howell, who had turned a 29.8 second lap around New Hampshire here. Daniel Pope the second, is second quickest so far, and Aaron Abendroth third quickest. With 11 minutes left in practice, everyone getting their hot laps in, getting a feel for the track, how it's going to run here tonight. And so far, looks like we've got about 44 entries lined up, ready to tackle the track here tonight. Bates, who finished on the podium in the last race, currently 18th fastest in practice, and I'm not seeing our second place driver in the lineup yet, maybe yet to join the server here. Hampshire is definitely one of those tracks that it's kind of hard to describe whether it's a short track or an intermediate. By the description, you know, it's a 1.058 mile track, so it is just a hair over a mile in length. But everyone that races this track definitely says it runs like a short track. Very flat, winding turns. These cars get slick out there, sliding around the track. Some drivers even claim it to be considered a big short track, or Martinsville on steroids, so take with that what you will. But as we're winding down in the practice session here, still about 9 minutes left. Pretty calm and orderly in practice here. Last week it was kind of chaotic during the practice session, but I think everyone's really trying to get a feel for their cars here tonight and get set off on the right foot. Peyton Howell sitting on pit road. Seems like he's happy with the setup on the car with that fast lap. Dylan Bates moving up a little bit. Let's jump to his car and see. Oh, I guess he just quit his lap after that lap. Moved up to 16th after good lap there. Now we'll keep an eye on him though. It looks like he's going to come back out and try to turn another lap. Still not seeing Jackson Lewis on the server yet here for the race. Our driver that finished second at North Wilkesboro. So just like last week, we're going to have a lot of drivers fending for very minimal spots here tonight, as 44 cars might get cut down. We'll see how far it gets cut down. I'm not sure on the track here tonight how many we're taking for the main event. I think it's safe to say as long as you're top 35 in the points or in the qualifying session, you should be in the main main event here tonight. Well, as we are getting down to the final minutes here of practice, we're going to see who comes ripping and roaring here and qualifying to take the pole position. Got Peyton Howell back out there trying to get another lap before the end of practice. Doesn't look like there's going to be anyone top him here in the session, though. Alrighty. So as the qualifying session gets underway here, we're going to try to hopscotch around to see how everyone's doing. One of the first drivers out is going to be the 20 here of Shane Klein. We're going to get 2 laps to set a quick time here. We'll see if times are going to start rolling in here shortly as drivers get their warm-up lap out of the way, and they're on a heater now. This for Peyton Howell should be his first timed lap. Shane Klein came in with a 30.31. Peyton Howell jumps up to the top with a 30.27. Everyone pretty well within a second of each other right now, those that have turned a lap. Peyton Howell to the top with one more lap. We'll see if he's quicker on the second lap or if the first one is what stands. As he comes across the line, we're going to wait for timing to catch up here. Peyton Howell with a 30.18. But there's some more names jumping to the top as you got Brady Weileman with a fast time of 30.13. He jumps to the lead of qualifying at the moment with a lot of drivers still left to go. Roughly about half the field has gone for their qualifying lap. A few drivers maybe waiting to kind of stretch it out here. There we go. Corey Bigley jumps up into the top 10 with a 7th quickest time. Peyton Howell's been knocked back to 6th here as Eric Tracy, Mike Alexander, AJ Rogers have all jumped up into the top 5. Kiernan Church just now jumps up to 8th there. Looks like that was his last lap. Kenny Brady to the top. Now, in a tiebreaker moment there, I'm assuming the lap time must go to the guy that got it last. Brady and Weileman both with a 30.13, and they're at the top of the chart. The only thing, regardless, they're going to be front row if things stay the way they are right now. But here's where things are going to get interesting as folks are going to be getting eliminated. And I'm still waiting to see. We can't guarantee who is in and who is out. But those that are on the outside of the top 35 right now include the 97 of Jeff By Jr., Jason Lottridge, Tim Weinreich, Doug Geiler, Drew Brown, Aaron Ward, Carter Russo, Paul Pitcher, the second, and J.J. McRae. And so here we have our starting lineup. By the skin of his teeth, Kenny Brady beats out Brady Weileman for pole position by the narrowest of margins there. And next row back, you've got Daniel Pope the second, followed by A.J. Rogers, Mike Alexander and Caleb Hall, Eric Tracy and Peyton Howell, Corey Bigley and Kieran Church, Todd Guerin and Dylan Bates. As we go down the list here, you've got the 13th place driver of Cody Boehm, Bill Tomer, Eric Myers, Matthew Barkhouse, Andrew Fayash III, Jacob Boehm, Shane Klein, Dylan Schreiner, along with Will Dravicki, Scott Negus. Pardon me, folks. I'm going to get these names right after tonight, hopefully. Josh Oswald, Corey B., Aaron Abendroth, Lee Norton, Larson Parker, Denver Travase. With the rest of the field there, David Hill, Zachary Onan, Tyler Rice, Peter Fisher, Elliot Carlson, William Griffith, Caleb Hill, and Jeff By Jr. The majority of these drivers at the back may very well be out of the race here tonight, not qualifying in the top 35 there. As we still wait here to get things started. Best of luck to all the drivers out there. If last race was any indicator, this one should be exciting, folks. Drivers that already started the season off with the top 5 finish include the likes of Kenny Brady, Eric Tracy, Dylan Bates, Jackson Lewis, and Peyton Howell. Do not see Jackson Lewis out here tonight, so must not have been able to make it for the race. But regardless, 4 of your top 5 in the race here tonight, and just about all of them starting in the top 10.
Green flag.
We're off and rolling here tonight, folks, for the In the Zone Racing ARCA series here from New Hampshire. As Brady leads them off into turn.
The yellow flag is out.
And we've already got our first yellow here on lap 1. Hold tight with me, folks, as I figure out where this caution happened here. I didn't have any luck finding what the caution was for. It looks like everyone's still pretty much running, so. If I had something to go back to, I had nothing, so apologies, folks, for the confusion from the broadcast booth here. Lights are off on the pace car. We're going to get back going on lap 5 here. For leader, Kenny Brady over Brady Weileman. Daniel Pope the second, AJ Rogers, and Caleb Hall. Looks like we had some takers down pit road during the brief intermission there. Single file restart here for the first restart of the night. As the pace car's off, we're back and rolling here. 88 is glued to the back bumper, that 44 as they're heading into turn 1 here. He's going to peek a nose on the inside, go way low on the track. You got to love the way they drive at New Hampshire here. Go in and use as much real estate as they can. Brady keeps the lead here. And hopefully not giving out the commentator's jinx here, but it looks like we're going to stay green here on to lap 6 now. Moving up to second, Daniel Pope. As they're hustling and bustling for position. Whoa, almost 3 wide there. As that looks to be the 88 of Weileman and 46 of Caleb Hall.
Caution, yellow flag.
So we're under caution yet again here. And let us figure out where this caution came through. I still learning iRacing. I am not getting the same tools that I thought I was going to get work with here. I just, yeah, I'm learning here, folks. So pardon the hiccups here. Don't know where the wrecks happened, but we're getting ready to go back green here on lap 11.
Green.
Alrighty, back and rolling here from New Hampshire. The 44 Brady out to a demanding lead off the restart.
The yellow flag is out.
Trying to figure out where the caution came this time. I'm going to skim through the field. I'm thinking my problem might be that I don't have the draw rate all the way full, so unless I'm looking at the back of the field, I'm not getting the replay footage for the wrecks here. Looks like perhaps the 92 involved in some kind of carnage here tonight. Let's figure out if this was perhaps the caution we're under here for. Yeah, that's where I think I'm going to have to make some modifications to my my coverage going forward here, folks. Looks like we're going to have a lot of takers down pit road here. Couple, maybe not a whole lot. Single file restart again here today.
Green flag,
They
green
get bunched
flag.
up and head out of the restart zone. Green, green, green. Going way down on the bottom, it is Howell. Trying to get as much ground on the restart as possible. All in the meanwhile, leading the way, it is Kenny Brady still over Daniel Pope II, Caleb Hall. Brady Weileman has settled into fourth there, and Mike Alexander top five. starting to stretch it out here, the 44 of Kenny Brady. Nearly a full half-second interval over second place. Top 7, top 8, pretty well single file, except for the exception, 52 of Peyton Howell. Keeps dipping down low to try and gain some ground here. Looks like he's going to try to get up to 5th on the 75 of Mike Alexander. Alexander holding him off right now, but here comes that 52. Two birds with one stone, perhaps. He's going to be right up alongside the 75 on the exit of the turn here, but within reach of that 88. Oh, and there's a spin in the background.
Yellow flag.
Actually saw that one. We'll have a replay to show you. Looks like the wreck involved Jacob Boehm. So let's see what happened here to Jacob Boehm. There's 00. It looks like he might have just lost it there on the exit of the turn. Spins out and ends up getting into the wall here. Not a very... Yeah, it was a rough looking hit on that inside wall. We'll see how he comes out on the other side here. But it looks like this may be kind of a shake-up now, maybe? Nope, not quite. Okay. Leaders still pretty much holding serve up front here. Weighing their options on when to make pit stops, get that pit strategy on the back of their mind. But not this turn. They're going to keep it up front, stay out front. Track position is huge here at New Hampshire. Looks like Jacob Boehm is going to be able to return to the race here, albeit might be a lap down or so. Ready for the restart on lap 22. Has been killing it on the restarts here today. Is this going to be same
Green
song,
flag,
different
green flag.
verse? Nice, clean start there. Both drivers got a good one, but the 44 jumps to the lead. Still making that bottom work for him. Peyton Howell driving it deep, making moves where he can, when he can. He is now up into the top 5 here today. Wager the first time he's been up to the top 5 tonight. He's flirting with maybe getting up to the back bumper of that 88 as well. And a swap for the lead, as that's going to be Caleb Hall charging in on the 44 of Kenny Brady. And Brady not able to hold off Caleb Hall as he gets it here on lap 25. Oh, whoa, whoa, and there was contact for the lead there.
Yellow flag.
No, Kenny Brady takes out the 46. I don't know, I can't really say that for sure, but the 46 got run into by the 44 there, fighting for the lead. That's a heartbreak, folks. When you're there fighting for the lead. So right here, heading into turn one, the 44 loses the lead there as Caleb Hall holds the lead. Looks like the 46 gets loose with the lead. I don't know if the 44 is very much in the wrong at all there. He isn't, because that 46 just got loose, and I don't think he anticipated the 46 getting loose there at the lead. Just one of those racing incidences that you hate to see, especially with two cars that had a great chance fighting for the win here today. 25 laps in, and their day just got harder. Well, now we're going to have a new leader regardless, based on the aftermath of that accident there. Daniel Pope is now your new leader. Brady Weileman up to second. Peyton Howell, top three. Dylan Bates, fourth. Bates and Howell were on the podium last week looking to try and match their season start in the second race of the season here. Mike Alexander is fifth. Eric Tracy, Kieran Church, Todd Guerin, Cody Bame, and AJ Rogers, your top 10. As we get set for the restart here, new front row. Let's see how these two get off to a start. No sweat for the 11 of Daniel Pope as he jumps to the front. Now he's going to have a very hard charging Peyton Howell on his inside. Having to hold him off may be a hard feat to pull off. 52 settles in line, try to get a little bit of draft off the 11 here as he drives it way to the bottom of the apron. That 52 trying to get some fresh air at the front of the field. Whoa, he gets a little loose there. Tried a little too hard on the inside of the 11. And he is driving it all the way down into the grass. Keeping it clean though. Driving at the very edge of the car and getting as much of the track as he can. Great battle for the lead. Weileman kind of in the background there, lurking like a shark. But how about Dylan Bates all the way up into the top 5? He's had quite the charge to the front of the field. Oh, the 11 got a little bit loose on the exit of the corner there. Seems to be holding off the 52 as much as possible here. 52 keeps taking a stab at the lead, but not able to execute the pass to perfection yet. Here goes another valiant effort. 52 drives it in deep. 88 starting to pick up on that, as you see in the background now. Brady Weilman going to that bottom line, I think, trying to see if he's got the speed in his car to make it work. And there comes the 52 again. It's going to be a drag race down the backstretch, but it doesn't matter since the caution is out. See if I caught the wreck. Doesn't look like it was within the draw distance there, so we'll just have to play Monday morning quarterback tomorrow and see who all was involved in the wrecks here tonight. It's got to be hard for the drivers to stop and go, the constant back and forth, under caution, back to green, under caution, back to green here. I am learning, folks. This is my first official iRacing broadcast solo. I've never done one before. I've always wanted to, and I've got, you know, expertise with NASCAR Racing 2003. The computer part, I'm still trying to figure out all the tools, bells and whistles, and we'll get it squared away by the next race, hopefully. Getting the draw distance kind of fine-tuned so we can get all the replay action from these races. With a full 36 car field, sometimes it's just hard to get all the action caught on film. And camera crew's going to learn from this one and make adjustments accordingly. The racing up front, though, has been extra exciting here tonight, as we've seen some good fights for the lead. Heartbreak for Kenny Brady and Caleb Hall there, after fighting for the lead, swapping the lead there. That was our first real lead change under green, and it ended in tragedy. So on to the next one, I'm sure, is what they would say if we interviewed them right now. They've got good cars, they've got good speed, just a little bit of bad luck here tonight from New Hampshire. So now Peyton Howell, for the first time, is going to get a restart on the front row, outside front row, alongside Daniel Pope II. Going to be interesting to see what Howell's got for the restart here, as the pace car is getting ready to pull off. Dylan Bates in the top 5. Mike Alexander hanging around in the top 5 very strongly here tonight. If you had to put an average on his running order from start to finish, I think 5th would be that number for sure. Rolling into turn 1, Howell's going to have the unfortunate circumstance of being up high for the first time in a while. He's always had that inside line blue. Now having to get sorted here behind the 11. He's got that open inside line again. Charges it in hard here through the turn. Has a nose in front of the 11. Is he going to be able to pull off on the front stretch here? Drag race down the front stretch. The 11 keeps the lead. But the blood is in the water as that 52 looking stout. He clips the grass. You can see the marbles as he hit the mud of the grass there, and it flicked some dirt up. Drives it in again here, and it might be close here, folks, if he can stick it through the turn and onto the front stretch. All the meanwhile, this is bringing Dylan Bates into the picture. Bates, closest he's been to the lead since the start of the race. And that's what's awesome about New Hampshire and its progressive banking. You get racing like this because of the track design, and it very much provides us with some of the best racing action a short track can provide. You know, other tracks that have progressive banking like Homestead or New Hampshire here, it's always interesting to see the different lines come out in a race. And that's exactly what's playing out here. 52's got it glued to that bottom, but the 11 still pretty quick on the outside. So just depends on how brave you are driving into the turns and if you can make it stick without spinning the car out. Here we go, drag race down the backstretch. Closest he's been to keeping that lead position. Is he going to be able? Not quite. That 11 keeping stout on the outside. Might not. Nope, still did not lead the lap there. The 52 trying his butt off to get the lead away from the 11. Now the 75 of Mike Alexander trying to get up to third here as Peyton Howell takes over the lead, and slide job passover maneuver. The 11 tried to get some ground back up on the 52, but Howell to the lead for the first time here tonight on lap 42. With that, let's do a through the field with that lead change. Obviously our top two, Peyton Howell and Daniel Pope the second, Dylan Bates in third. Mike Alexander in fourth, Brady Weileman in fifth. And we're back under caution. Put that through the field on hold here. There are some tore up cars in the background, back into the track here. I'm impressed with our leaders continuing to stay out, waiting maybe perhaps till about halfway if there's going to be pit stops here today. Try to make it a race on 2 stops here in the back half of the field. It doesn't really matter. Might as well pit as many times as you can, get some adjustments made. But the leaders, as it is, always about track position at tracks like this. You don't want to give it up. You want to hold it for as long as you can. as we get stacked up for the restart here. Your top 5 have been pretty consistent here today. We'll maybe try to keep an eye on some of those folks in the background and see if we've got any movers trying to make a charge up to the front of the field. Especially if we had some people making pit stops to get some adjustments or fresh tires. You never know, there might be someone waiting in the background to try and climb up to the front. Pace car's off and we're back rolling. Peyton Howell with the lead for the first time here tonight, gets the lead rolling in on the restart. As the track starts to darken up a little bit here, you may start seeing some changes to the track's composition for these drivers based on their setups. Doesn't seem to be slowing them down right now, but we'll see what kind of adjustments need to be thrown at them to keep them running strong here. Mike Alexander up to 3rd now. Let's do our through the field now that we've got some green flag action here. Dylan Bates in 4th, Brady Weileman in 5th, Eric Tracy in 6th, Matthew Barkhouse 7th, AJ Rogers. He had a great finish last race, trying to get another decent finish this week. Followed in line by Todd Green, Corey Bigley, Andrew Fayash III, Eric Myers, Bill Tomer, Corey B, Shane Klein, Scott Negus, Kiernan Church, Dylan Schreiner, Will Dravicki, Josh Oswald, Denver Travis, Cody Bain, Zachary Onan, William Griffith, Elliot Carlson, Tim Weinrich in 26, Tyler Rice in 27. Looks like we've got about around 30 cars left running on the lead lap here today. Yeah, my draw distance will be adjusted. I can't even go that far back in the pack without it freaking it out, so. But the primary focus is on the front of the field as always. Fighting for the win. Peyton Howell holding it right now over Daniel Pope II and Mike Alexander as they start to kind of run the game of chess here, making moves, trying to figure out where to place themselves for the last half of this race. Not even halfway through yet. We've got a lot of racing left to go. One of the longer races that we'll probably have with the series. We do have a couple tracks that are bigger, but they'll be faster. So Nashville Super Speedway, as well as later in the year, they'll end up going to Atlanta. 75 laps in Atlanta, so these cars, they might fly through pretty quickly on that one. And then Nashville Super Speedway is obviously a intermediate size track. Next week on the schedule will be Kern County, Kevin Harvick's Kern County Raceway for the Kern 125. Schedule's definitely a little bit heavier on short tracks, as one would expect with an ARCA series. but I do like what tracks are mixed in there with obviously New Hampshire here today, Atlanta a little bit later down the line, and Nashville Super Speedway. With a playoff chase at the end of the year coming in October, they'll have Bristol, Nashville Fairgrounds, Richmond, and Iowa to cap off the season.
Caution, yellow flag.
And we're back under caution here tonight. Tim Weinrich crashed. Where is... There's the aftermath on the 16. We'll see if my computer caught the wreck in action here. Now it seems like all I caught was the tail end of it here. In the middle of turn 2, it looks destroyed. That is not the way you want to end your night, for sure. Looks like Tim Weinrich trying to get it back home. Minimal steering, I don't know if he's going to be able to get it back without a tow truck. That 16 is toast. So, big mover in the race here tonight so far is Matthew Barkhouse up into the top 5. He's gained 11 spots to make it up there. A few other drivers have gained more spots than him. If you look back into 19th right now, the number 12 of William Griffith up 15 spots. But amongst your top 10, Matthew Barkhouse has made the most moves up to the front half of the field. Peyton Howell was able to gain 7 spots since qualifying. Daniel Pope's only gained 1, qualified 3rd up to 2nd. Mike Alexander from 5th up to 3rd there. And Dylan Bates has gained 8 spots, so from about 12th up into the top 5. Unfortunately, the biggest drop was the 170 of AJ Rogers, who's dropped 19 spots here today. Still a lot of racing to try and rebound. Some of these drivers have been involved with chaos at the racetrack here tonight. But it's smooth sailing out front for Peyton Howell, who had worked hard to get up to the front here. Fought tooth and nail to get that lead away from the 11 of Daniel Pope II. At one point it was Kenny Brady and Caleb Hall leading the way, and Peyton Howell was top 5, but since that unfortunate wreck earlier in the race here, they have fallen out of the race here tonight. We're approaching halfway in the race. Just a couple laps time, we'll be officially halfway through the New Hampshire 125. Pope's hanging in strong here for second, keeping it close to Howell for the lead. The big question is whether or not the drivers are going to have to make a pit stop. Starting to develop a two-car breakaway at the front of the field as they were looking to be 3 wide. And that kind of settled down a little bit. Mike Alexander lost the spot to Dylan Bates. Hopefully everyone's enjoying the racing action here tonight. Halfway down, halfway to go. We're starting to see some separation with Peyton Howell driving away from the 11 now. Put about 4 or 5 car lengths on second place at the moment. And there's about 4 or 5 car lengths back to third place, Dylan Bates. And here comes the 75 on the inside. Brady Weileman tried to sneak in there, but doesn't get alongside the 75. With a big charge through the middle of the turn there. Knocking on the door of the 75, maybe going to try to make another attempt. No, the 75 kind of closes the line down on the 88. 88 under attack now by Andrew Fayash, the third. That would be the 157. Perlator car. It looks very reminiscent to Derek Cope in his Daytona 500 winning paint scheme. Very hard to mistake that paint scheme. That's a true throwback right there. Derek Cope, the only Washington native to win the Daytona 500. Very few Washington drivers make it to the Cup level, and he was one of the few to actually claim the big race. So that's that paint scheme that I'm very familiar with, being a Washington native. He's trying to fight to get up into the top 5 here, but he's got some hard passes to make. That 88 is not going to be an easy one to pass, nor is the 75 of Mike Alexander. But just as I mentioned that, the 88 gets close to getting alongside Mike Alexander for that position as they are slicing and dicing, trying to take as much as they can get. Down to about 49 laps left to go here. The gap for Peyton Howell, almost 2-second advantage over Daniel Pope II. Josh Oswald out. I'm reading the ticker. The ticker's not always accurate. It looks like he's still in 26th on back, out of the race here tonight. Apologies for the technical difficulties on my end, folks, that the draw distance didn't catch those wrecks for the drivers involved here tonight. So we've got about 25 cars left running and about 10 cars retired on wrecks and cautions here tonight. Andrew Fayash is 11 spots to the good from where he started here tonight. And as it sits right now, he would be the second highest gainer in the race, behind that of Caleb Hill and Jeff By Jr. He's going to try to get around Brady Weileman here. 75 now, taking it down below the line. As you start to see some of the drivers mix it up with their racing line here. The tires are starting to change drastically on a long run, especially a long green flag run here. You start seeing some changes in how the car handles. Seems like the 75 making the most for an adjustment down to the bottom line and maybe making it work here as he's trying to get up on the 91 of Dylan Bates. Doesn't matter what form of racing, whether it be NASCAR, IndyCar, Formula One, dirt racing, drag racing, you know, it's always sweeter to finish on the podium. And that might be what Mike Alexander's primary goal right now. If he can't win the race, let's try to go for third. He's had a top 5 car all night. Top 5 pace has been stout, keeping it out of trouble, avoiding any of the chaos and carnage. And that Excite scheme running strong here as laps start to click away. Peyton Howell is on a tear. He's driving away by about the tune of 2.5 seconds on second place. And here we've got Mike Alexander trying as hard as he can to get up to third here. Drives it in on the 91. Is he going to be able to complete the pass on the exit of the turn here, though? Drag race down the backstretch. Who's got it? Bates or Alexander? Alexander's going to have the advantage going into the turn. And right there, leans back into the gas, drives off the turn with a good head of steam. The 91 using a little bit more momentum to his advantage. Great racing for third place here. Now lap traffic may start to factor in here a little bit. Peyton Howell still out front by 2.5 seconds, but with lap traffic, these drivers are going to have to navigate some treacherous waters. 75 still struggling to get around the 91 here. The 3 gets up high, tries to stay out of the way, and the 91's going to get stuck behind him. Oh, there was very little room to make that slide in front of the 75. but they keep it clean, keep it going forward. Bates still prevailing on holding on to third at the moment. Even the lap traffic ain't going to phase him as he's fighting hard for that position. Peyton Howell now almost up to about a 3-second interval in the lead. Mike Alexander might very well have it here. He's going to have a full car length advantage, and he closes the door on the 91. Very, very close contact maybe behind him, but he's going to be able to drive away for now on the 91. You can barely slip a piece of paper between the two of them once he closed that door. And now he's got his sights set on second place, Daniel Pope II. Still plenty of laps for anything to happen here. Peyton Howell might be out by nearly a 3-second lead, but this 75 is showing some muscle here in the late run. Keep an eye on Peyton Howell for a little bit here and see how he's handling the lap traffic. That right there is the 0-1. Of Caleb Hill. But he's able to get right by. And back to setting sail from the front of the field. Andrew Fayash still trying to get up into the top 5 here. One gatekeeper being the 88 of Brady Weileman, holding on to that 5th position. As they're working their way through some lap traffic now as well. And Mike Alexander may not be done making moves here. It looks like he's trying to get around the 11 now. Driving it in deep. And catching up on the backside of that 11. Fayash goes low here. Is he going to be able to make the move on Weileman for 5th place? What would be the difference between a T5 and a T10? Ready for another run, and man, we're gonna have to jump back up to the front again as that 75 trying with all his might to get up to the 11 here. 11 losing some ground. Is Mike Alexander gonna be able to get the pass done here shortly? Don't want to miss any passes as we're getting a lot of it going on around the track here. Keeping our eyes on the big ones at the moment, and it's gonna be P2 for Mike Alexander, as he has climbed from 5th up to 2nd here tonight. Great performance out of that 75 Ford Mustang, flying the Exide colors. Peyton Howell had to pit. We've got pit stops going on right now. Peyton Howell to the pits. And that's kind of what I expected. We were going to see some pit stops factor in here tonight. From the lead, he's probably just hoping that everyone else needs to pit'll pit. 11 also on pit road. It's going to take a while for things to get sorted here. Daniel Pope II. This is that danger zone. You do not want to get stuck on pit road or stuck a lap down. Teams are having their fingers crossed that everything stays green here. Everything shakes back out to their advantage after pit stops factor out here. 35 laps to go. And it's still Mike Alexander at the lead. But now he's pitting. As many of these teams are going to be pitting here. The one uncertain or unknown is whether or not anyone pitted during any of those cautions here tonight. Anyone that may have pitted and tried to sneak one out, we'll definitely have to wait and see. But during the transition of pit stops here, it's going to be Dylan Bates to the lead for a while. Andrew Fayash in third, up to second. Eric Tracy in third. Cody Bame in fourth. And A.J. Rogers up into the top 5. Our previous leader, that of Peyton Howell, is sitting 12th right now. Just barely.
Caution, yellow flag.
Oh, and that's going to be a heartbreak. We'll see if wave rounds can help some people. But a very ill-timed caution for those that were hoping things could stay green here tonight. Looks like the key factor here is the fact that Howell was able to stay on the lead lap, just barely. But your leaders are all going to pit. Chances are wave rounds, if they are awarded here, will get most of the drivers back on the lead lap. Dylan Bates from the lead here with 30 laps to go, comes down pit road. That is going to hand the race lead over briefly the 66 of Eric Tracy. Peyton Howell already up into the top 5. May not be sitting too bad here. Definitely is a curveball for those that had been running top 5 here tonight. Mike Alexander currently credited with 20th. At least one lap down. Have a top 5 run, get negated like that is it's a tough pill to swallow, but still we've got a lot of racing with 30 laps that could still pan out here. So front row, very, very different from what we've seen here tonight. It's going to be Eric Tracy and Cody Babe, followed by Josh Oswald, A.J. Rogers, and Brady Weileman, your top 5. Peyton Howell has lucked into a top 6 restart here after losing the lead under green flag pit stops.
Green flag.
We're back and rolling. Only about 15 cars on the lead lap. Peyton Howell wasted no time going to the very bottom here, trying to pick up as many spots on the restart. Oh, and they're spinning behind. 88, that is. Brady Weileman spun out there. Let's see how this transpired here. Tough break. 88. Fighting for position here amongst Eric Tracy, Jacob Boehm, Matthew Barkhouse, and the 17 even of Josh Oswald. Oswald was right there in front of the 88. He just gets a little loose. Ends up collecting the 22, it looks like. Not too terrible on the damage there. Yeah, I think it's just one of those loose track, you know, being as loose as this track gets sometimes. 17 of Oswald loose in front of the 88. The 88 with nowhere to go. Keenan Church with nowhere to go. Just a kiss on the 88. I think everyone will be able to return to racing, but they're going to have lost some spots here after that wreck. Oops, what happened? There we go. Haven't seen a black screen like that with iRacing before, so I was kind of worried there for a moment.
Green flag, green flag.
Alrighty, single file restart here on lap 100 as we've got 25 laps left to go. Peyton Howell drives it in deep. The 78 of Cody Boehm right there in second, under attack by Peyton Howell there as Eric Tracy holds the lead. 16 cars on the lead lap. One wave around from that last caution. Will we be able to run all the way to the finish, or are we going to see some more cautions? Peyton Howell gets right back up where he once was, leading the race again. And here comes Dylan Bates knocking on a top three. He gets in there. That's a very rough move to make, but he gets it done. Gets kind of like threading the needle there. Cody Boehm holds on to second. Dylan Bates up to third. Eric Tracy back to fourth. And now Andrew Fayash the third, knocking on the door of a top five. Crazy that it's got Oswald credited with ninth, but it looks like he's right there in seventh. Unless that is... Oh, okay, there's a pair of 17s out there. That is AJ Rogers. Josh Oswald's in the other 17. That's where I got mixed up there. So that's actually AJ Rogers in the 170. Oh!
Yellow flag.
Man, what a rough night for the 75 after having such a stellar run here tonight. Fighting for about 20th on track. He gets clipped by the 19. That is, I believe, Todd Guerin. If not, the numbers aren't quite matched up there. Oh, 19, that's Matthew Barkhouse, my bad. Trying to get the right name tied to the right driver. And the 19, it was Matthew Barkhouse that made contact there. With Alexander. It's gotta be just another one of those racing deals that the real estate kind of dried up, it seems. The lights are off on the pace car. Starting on the front for this restart, it's going to be Peyton Howell and Dylan Bates, followed by Cody Boehm and Eric Tracy. Andrew Fayash III and AJ Rogers, Daniel Pope II, Corey B, Jacob Boehm, after getting wrecked earlier, has been able to climb all the way back up into the top 10 here. Josh Oswald also with the top 10 run here with 19 laps to go. Dylan Bates is kind of blinking at the front there. Hopefully that doesn't cause any issues for the drivers around him. As they get bunched up for the restart here.
Green flag, green flag.
Peyton Howell doing what he's done all night, getting back to the front and driving away with it. But don't count out Dylan Bates. He's going to be fighting for the win here as well, and very possibly could get in the mix here on Peyton Howell. These two finished podium last race at North Wilkesboro, and they're fighting for another podium here tonight. Maybe looking at two of the stars of the series. Here comes Dylan Bates with a good run. He's starting to catch up to the 52 of Howell. Howell trying to get down low, and he's not able to drive it on that bottom line like he once used to. And I wonder if the track's getting away from him here a little bit. Dylan Bates closing that gap, trying to catch him. Dylan Bates with, they had identical laps that last time, a 30.02 for both of them. So Dylan Bates actually, I think, was his fastest lap that last lap for himself. And Peyton Howell with his fastest lap too. So both drivers laying it on thick here with 15 laps left to go. Dylan Bates continued with a 30.07. Peyton Howell with a 30.13, so he's losing the lead here incrementally to the 91 of Bates. They are both driving away from the rest of the field as third place Cody Bame is kind of holding serve with the big crew behind him. This battle at the front of the field, well worth the admission to show up to the event, folks. These two putting on one heck of a finish for this race. 91 got a little bit slideways there through the turn. Maybe lost a little bit of the ground that he was making up. And we're under caution yet again, folks, with 14 laps remaining. So this happened in so it is the 6 here of Tyler Rice that gets loose in the middle of the first turn here. Just loses it all by his lonesome. Kieran Church right there in the midst of another caution here. Doesn't make contact, but it definitely woes him up there a little bit. Tyler Rice collects it back up. Avoids making contact, it seems. The 80's coming in here hot. Close call by the 80, getting to move away right at the last second there. But nonetheless, another caution means another restart here tonight from New Hampshire. We're closing in on the final 10 laps here tonight, as everyone's been putting on a great race for the fans. The lights are off on the pace car. We'll get back going with 10 laps to go. Will Dylan Bates maybe have some for Peyton Howell at the end of this one? He was definitely showing his hand there on that last restart and giving Peyton Howell a run for his money there. Starting to wonder if the setup got away from the 52. Cody Bame in third. If Chaos Strikes could still be in the mix for a win here. Really can't count out anyone. Peyton Howell, Dylan Bates lead him to the restart here. They are very, very bunched up, and the 52 gets a good start. Or was it too good of a start? We'll see. That 52 to the front of the field. 91 right there, though. He's going to try lay it on thick. Third place looking to swap hands here. It looks like the 11 gets slick. We're under caution yet again here, as the excitement, the intensity get ramped up for the final laps of the race. Zachary Onan went off track. We'll see if I caught that on my broadcast here. Yet again, it looks like I've only caught the aftermath, so. Well, we'll see if they opt for single file restarts here. We've seen them swap it up a few times tonight. Like getting the wave round was Zachary Onan. Not seeing. Oh, Mike Alexander looks like he's retired for the race. Haven't had a top 5 car here tonight, and just unfortunately getting tangled up in a wreck, relegating him back to 29th here tonight. Looks like we are going single file for this perhaps last restart of the race. Don't want to call it before it you can't count all your chickens before the eggs have hatched. We might have some more restarts, hopefully not. 7 laps to go. 6-lap shootout once they come across the line. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Peyton Howell? Is it going to be Dylan Bates? Or perhaps Cody Bame maybe sneaking one out here? 91's getting right up on the back bumper, trying to play some games there on the 52. Fortunately, that caused him to lose a lot of ground as that 52 got one big jump from the lead there. Oh, and then the 52 of Peyton Howell clipped the wall there. That could be an opening for Dylan Bates. Bates driving around on the high side here. Is he going to have the momentum to catch the 52? And we're back under caution, unfortunately, just as the racing was getting exciting. Like Negus gets the wave around, maybe Brady Weileman. As timing and scoring keeps updating here, maybe it was Denver Travis getting the wave around instead, actually. So 23 cars back on the lead lap here. Your top 10 as they sit right now. It's Peyton Howell, Dylan Bates, Cody Bame, Eric Tracy, Daniel Pope II, Andrew Fayash III, Jacob Bame, AJ Rogers, Corey Bigley, and Corey B. Not to be confused with Corey Bigley. Dylan Schreiner, Elliot Carlson, Kieran Church, Tyler Rice, Zachary Onan, all still running. Eric Myers, Aaron Abendroth, Matthew Barkhouse, Scott Negus, and Brady Weileman. Far fall from where he once was, running up in the top 3. He's sitting 20th late in the race here. Lost 18 spots. Biggest gainer here today. Elliot Carlson up to 12th. He's gained 21 spots, charging through the field, avoiding the wrecks, and just surviving, it seems. But here we go. 3 laps to go. Is it gonna end under regulation, or may we have some stabs at a green-white checkered here tonight? Dylan Bates is going to have to perform a masterful restart with the 52 up front.
Green flag, green flag.
91 of Bates had a rough start there as the 52 of Howell driving away. Going into the first turn, Bates not letting that phase him as he's trying to close that gap. They come down the backstretch. Dylan Bates, it's about a 2-car length advantage for Howell. They're spinning behind them. Nope, they save it. They keep it going forward. The white flag waving in the air. 1 more lap to go here from New Hampshire. Howell holds the lead on Dylan Bates. Is Bates going to be able to make one valiant push at the end here, or is it going to fall short? Dylan Bates giving it everything he's got. They're wrecking, not quite. They're wrecking. As Dylan Bates comes to the front, it's going to be Peyton Howell with the advantage heading in to the front stretch. Peyton Howell wins the 2nd race of the season. And a very dominant performance out of that 52. Put on a show here tonight. Even came back through the field to get back to the front. He was not going to be held out of the lead. Found his way back up and won it here tonight for win number 2 on the season. Dylan Bates comes home 2nd, Cody Bame 3rd, Daniel Pope II 4th, Andrew Fayash III 5th, Jacob Bame 6th, Eric Tracy, AJ Rogers, Corey Bigley, and Corey B. And he's burning it down, celebrating the win here today at New Hampshire. He definitely stated that this was a track he really liked, and it shows. He had a great performance here at the track, winning it in style. Definitely a lot of storylines that unfolded here tonight. Heartbreak for a couple drivers that led early in the race, wrecking out from the lead. Peyton Howell had a stellar performance. You also had drivers like Mike Alexander, who had top 5 pace all day, got trapped down in the wrong direction. And so now let us do some driver interviews as we pull some folks up into the booth to acknowledge their feat here tonight. So first off, we're going to go ahead and interview our 3rd place driver who finished on the podium here tonight. Do you copy, Cody Bame?
Yes, sir. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. Ran better than I thought I would.
Did you have fun out there tonight at New Hampshire?
Yeah. Sweating my ass off in my basement, but yeah, it was a good time for sure. Wish we didn't have so many cautions, but it was a good race when we got some green flag laps in up front.
Yeah, you definitely fought hard to get up to 3rd there. didn't really have that pace all night, and got some lucky breaks there to get up to the top 3. So, anything you wanna say for the fans or the sponsors that brought you here?
Yeah, I just wanted to shout out, you guys for broadcasting, and Velocity Motorsports for just being a good team, being a good bunch of guys to race with. We got two of the top 3, the 2 that you don't want, but we'll take it.
How do you feel for Kern County next week?
Good. I love Kern County. I like it more than I like New Hampshire, so maybe somebody can beat the 52. Probably not me, but somebody else has to get a win.
Well, I'm excited to see how that goes next week. Good luck, and congratulations on your 3rd place finish here tonight from New Hampshire.
Thank you very much.
Well, that, folks, was Cody Boehm. Had a huge comeback in the race, getting up to 3rd there. And so now let us bring in Dylan Bates, who came home 2nd. Do you copy, Dylan Bates?
I gotcha.
How was that race tonight?
Well, up and down, I suppose. Qualifying, kind of buried ourselves. Not the best start there, but dug our way up through there and managed to keep some tire underneath it, and waited around till that green flag pit cycle, and looks like we saved a lot more fuel than everybody else. We were able to run a little longer, which paid off huge for us. We were able to trap a lot of the fuel to lap down, and cycle back out 2nd place after Peyton pit a few laps before I did and had tires. So, yeah, wish we could have got through the 3 or 4 cars that were in front of me, between me and Peyton, a little quicker. Maybe we would have had something before the tires equalized. But once the tires equalized and it was restart after restart, there was no way I was going to be able to time him. It's just so hard to time restarts in iRacing, for some reason, for whatever reason it is. But good for Peyton, 2 in a row. So, well, I guess 2 seconds for me. So we'll keep the momentum rolling.
Yeah, tires definitely the name of the game here at New Hampshire. It eats them up like cheese grater. And how about any of your sponsors, your fans? Who do you want to thank for getting you to this point?
Oh, yeah, man, just all the guys at Velocity Motorsports, and Bill and Jeff and Pope and all those guys for putting on ITZR again. Awesome to be racing.
Yeah, it was an exciting race. I enjoyed watching you fight up there with Peyton Howell in the closing laps. You definitely gave him a run for his money.
Did my best, man.
Well, have a good night. Congratulations again on your podium. Back-to-back podiums, definitely pretty sweet.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Alrighty, and then the man of the hour getting the win here tonight. We'll bring in Peyton Howell to the booth. Hey there, Peyton, you copy?
Yes, sir.
Man, what an up and down race that was. It was fun, right? Did you have fun out there?
Yeah, that was it was fun. I was hoping that we got a caution when we did. Thank God we did. Or I was just like, there's no way I'll lose this race because we got a pit, and people had pit that caution before and had enough fuel to make it to the end. But yeah, just lots of fun. I love racing around all of these guys. Lots of clean guys. Yeah, that was weird. It was a weird race because of the fuel and all that, but I'm glad that the caution did come out when it did, and we stayed on the lead lap and could be there at the end to race for the win.
So was the car getting away from you there at the end? I kind of noticed that it got a little bit looser and was a little bit harder to stick it to the bottom. Was that pretty accurate assessment of the situation there?
Yeah, Dylan had fresher tires. He had like 5-6 lap fresher tires, so it was going to be hard to keep him behind. I needed him to just not time a restart, because if he would have, he'd have won the race. So he didn't do that. It was just because all the heat cycles on the tires, we kept having to fire off on just bad tires, and the bottom doesn't come in for like the first 5-10 laps. So I'd ran it all night, and then I had to actually change my line for once, and if we would have had 5-10 laps, I think I could have got back to the bottom and been fine. But yeah, I was kind of struggling there in the middle.
Well, it was an awesome race through and through. You fought hard and earned that one here tonight. Is there any sponsors, fans, family you want to thank?
Oh yeah, Unrivaled Innovations. You can check us out at unrivaledinnovations.com. Icon Apparel. They've been on. Scott's been with me for the better part of 6 years now. Victory Fuel, HelloFresh, the Nerditude guys. They've been a part of this journey for a while as well. Celsius, Yahoo, Race Stop Suicide, Bladen Edwards for the paint, and all the Unrivaled esports guys that are back on the team. Y'all for putting on a broadcast. Jeff and Bill for putting this back together. This is badass that it's back.
Yeah, it's been an awesome start. I've been enjoying watching the racing. I myself am a paint scheme guy, and you do have a really sick-looking paint scheme out there on track. So keep up the good work, and it's definitely paying off in droves.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And that, folks, is a wrap here for tonight. I do want to apologize as I had to jump into the ice here and learn how to make it work right, and I'm learning. We made some mistakes, and I'm going to bounce back and figure out how to make it better for next time. I appreciate everything y'all have done to put together a great cast of racers here, fighting for wins every week. I'm excited on my Mondays now to get into iRacing and give us the best coverage possible. So with that, folks, thank you for catching the race here with Intensity Broadcasting. It was a good race. We got to see some lead changes. We got to see some carnage. And through, just a lot of storylines starting to unfold here. 2 races in, and we got about a 12-race schedule. And anything can happen. So thanks again, folks. Hopefully have a great night. Stay safe out there. And until next time, this is Jakester signing out.